Well, considering that we are Locobuzz, I'm going to say that it's the proactive customer engagement. So what happens is if I have a problem and I come to know that the brand is there to help me, to listen to me and to solve my problem in a timely manner, that brings a lot of trust and confidence for me as a customer to depend on that brand and go back again and again. So eventually building customer loyalty for the brand. So it's just not one interaction, it's every single transaction which is creating that kind of experience. So the customer keeps going back and the overall value of a customer becomes meaningful for that brand then.
So should be, wherever we go, right? Whether it's client meetings, we go to conferences, and of course, within our internal product discussions as well, we often talk about automation, right? And that is something which is, of course, in the industry being seen as the main growth lever. Of course, there is a lot of active campaigns which are being done by the brands, new customer engagement, etc. That philosophies that are coming out in the industry. But if you really look at it, there is a lot of work that is happening behind the scenes silently, right? And that's all purely thanks to automation. What's your take on this?
So in this entire growth strategy, I feel automation is one of the unsung heroes of the whole play. It's really not about replacing people with machines and people with technology. It is about creating opportunities and giving freedom for people to concentrate on things which matter, like building brand conversations, creating customer loyalties, and building that trust. And automation is very integral part of this overall setup, where it is giving people that opportunity and bandwidth to actually focus on things which matter.
True, and it's also about how do you add efficiency. It's not about only how do you shift working hard to working smarter, right?
Yes.
And we see a lot of these examples. For example, in erstwhile days, one would actually walk into a retail store, you figure out what products are there, not there. But today, I think it's advanced to a level wherein in a lot of brands which are more customer connected, you will already know that the product is available, right? You walk in and pick the product and check out, right?
Well, customers like me don't even walk into the stores anymore because we have these beautiful shopping apps which are not only giving me product range, recommendations, price checks, and delivery timelines. So I, as a customer, get to see not only one dress which I went out to buy, but also 25 others which I really like. So for me, it becomes a very different experience because I get to choose what I want at my own convenience. And in case there is a delivery delay or a billing problem, that's where the automation engine comes in. But as a customer, I would not know about all of that. All I am looking for is a seamless experience, of seamless buying experience rather. And automation is kind of enabling that for me. Essentially, what is happening is all this experience is reducing customer anxiety, building trust, and the efficiencies are enabling customer confidence to come back again and again for the same shopping experience.
Actually, efficiency is not about just speed, it's about making the customer feel important. And through the experience, you feel that you are the only one that the brand is dealing with. Isn't it so?
That's true, because it's like a quiet worker in the background, which is creating this personalized experience for the customer, so they feel cared for, they feel heard, they feel good about that whole experience. Right. Efficiency is one part of it, but also personalization is giving it a very beautiful flavor when we are talking about today's retail experience.
True. So what, as per you, Shubhi, is one of the most overlooked experiences when it comes to automation, right?
I think
in creating actually customer experiences. I mean, you've talked about customer experience. So what's the gap that you?
Well, considering that we are Locobuzz, I'm going to say that it's the proactive customer engagement. So what happens is if I have a problem, and I come to know that the brand is there to help me, to listen to me and to solve my problem in a timely manner, that brings a lot of trust and confidence for me as a customer to depend on that brand and go back again and again. So eventually building customer loyalty for the brand. So it's just not one interaction, it's every single transaction which is creating that kind of experience. So the customer keeps going back, and the overall value of a customer becomes meaningful for that brand then. And when it also comes to conversions, automation is a powerhouse, because it's like you plan to buy something, but you're not so sure. So you leave it in the cart and you do your works, day's chores. But then at the end of the day, you get a slight WhatsApp reminder or a slight email that, hey, that item or that garment is still waiting for you. So it's like a little friendly reminder, which is also done by the automation. So as a brand, you are not losing me as a customer, you're not losing a potential sale. And for me as a customer, if I love something and it has gone off my mind, I can also go back to that activity and finish that transaction.
Right.
So it's a win-win for both the situations.
Right. I mean, it's almost like a nudge from a friend, right? And I think
Absolutely.
the next level that most brands are today taking it to personalization is that you not only have the reminders from your empty cart, but it will also basically talk about, throw up other similar products that one could look at, etc. So the huge opportunity to cross-sell, upsell, but still not feeling that it is a pushy robotic exercise, right? So that's about creating personalized journey through automation.
I completely agree, and here balance is the key, because you want to appear helpful and contextual and personalized, but at the same time not pushy. So that there's a thin line between being that friend who's always nudging you to buy something. Right. Because you're not going to be friends for long then.
No, that's true. And I think it's about how a brand particularly balances between the customer journey, keeping it more personal. Yeah, I mean, that's what it really boils down to at the end of it. So I think it's truly about how brands would be creating this balance, because we talked about the nudge, but how do you define that it is personal and more human in nature, and it doesn't seem robotic at all, right? So where do you think that the gap lies, right? And how can one bridge that gap?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question, because most importantly, in all of this, we have to be again mindful of how we are dealing with people. It is with empathy, it is with transparency, right, and keeping in sync and in tune with these values. We create transactions, we create interactions which do not feel very, very automated, which feels to the customer that they are being heard, and it is not impacting the customer brand loyalty anywhere negatively. Automation can also help spot a customer while they are drifting away, right, by giving like I said, a gentle nudge. So I am able to go ahead and retain my customer and not worry about losing them just right, because right, they have abandoned something in their cart. Right.
I think it's also that retention is something which happens in quieter moments as the customer is experiencing your journey, and it's making the customer feel that you're remembered constantly rather than it being a marketing pitch. Of course, we've talked a lot about the nudge and the silent the nag and the upsells, cross sells. So as such, retention really happens in quieter moments. You've talked about all of this examples. So everything is actually technically happening behind the scenes without the customer realizing. And it's about making the customer feel remembered rather than marketed to. It's also about how do you build trust in the entire process, how do you create more consistency, right? Would you like to quote a particular example wherein, of course, we've been helping various customers with this through their process. And I think there are enough and more examples that we can talk about where we've been able to roll this out and create business impact for the customer. Maybe we should talk about one such example.
So I think one example which comes to my mind right now is when we were working with one of the retail D2C brands, right, and those were the early days. During the time of COVID, once the lockdown was announced, we saw like there was a tremendous surge in the number of tickets on complaints and queries and delivery delays and billing related queries. So we were able to manage all of that by actually using automation plus manual intervention, because at that time technology was not this advanced. However, now I see if something similar arises, what took us about 3-4 days at that time can be done in probably 5 hours.
Right.
That's the power of automation. And situations like this where it's unprecedented, right?
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Right.
But the repercussion for the brand to handle was too much. If we were totally depending upon the manual intervention to do these kind of things, even at that time, it would have taken us at least 10-15 days to kind of manage the number of tickets which had come in.
Right.
That's where I feel that automation has always been part of this narrative. And we have created differences in customers' lives without actually going very vocal about it.
Right, right. I think it's also
we are
about
also like the silent heroes.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think we were just like the automation plays a silent game behind.
Yeah.
We've been playing that game for a lot of our customers.
Yes.
Right? And I think it's not only about just a crisis management situation that you've talked about. It's also about how automation can be leveraged to bring down the amount of errors, right? For the customer to actually get an understanding as to what are the areas of issues that they are facing. So it's basically taking it to the next level, where you're not only automating to actually reduce, efficiencies, but how do you reduce errors? How do you actually get an understanding as to what are the typical areas your customers are feeling friction in their customer journey? Isn't that so?
Yeah, but I agree with you because the trust isn't built overnight. It's a series of small fortunate steps which one takes towards building that customer journey, which inculcates and which builds that loyalty towards the brand.
So let me throw a question at you, right? What's the most surprising win that you've seen from automations?
We are working with many brands. I cannot name the brand and I will not name the brand, but we have been working with certain brands which are actually using automation to do so much with just a limited team of their agents. I'm taking an example of time where there are unprecedented number of volume of mentions because of let's say a campaign or a special product launch that they did, got hundreds and thousands of mentions within 24 hours. And automation was there, became the key to kind of address everything in time and keep that machinery moving with a very small team. So we have seen this in action, and I think this is just the simplest use case which we are talking about, because we talked so much about the retail and shopping carts and recommendations and the entire cycle of buying for a customer. And from that aspect, I think the flavors of automation in each of these steps can be so much more than what I just discussed. So I'm very excited about where this is all going to lead and how things are moving. So future is already here. So and we are very ready to take on.